Tonight we're stepping into one of the most controversial cases of our time, a story that's divided families, dominated timelines, and left a nation asking the same haunting question. Do we really know who pulled the trigger? Within hours of the shooting, headlines were everywhere. Tyler Robinson's name was on every network, labeled the man who ended Charlie Kirk's life. His arrest was presented as the end of the story, but what if it was only the beginning? New reports, first-hand accounts, and forensic details are surfacing, details prosecutors would rather stay hidden. Together, they paint a far more complicated picture, a picture suggesting Tyler Robinson may not be the man behind the gun. And if that's true, then someone else is walking free while Robinson waits for trial and possibly the death penalty. This isn't just about one man or one case. It's about the cracks in a system we're told to trust. It's about how evidence can be packaged into a narrative. And it's about the terrifying possibility that justice itself has been bent to fit a story. On that September night, the campus of ARM, Utah, turned into a lockdown zone. Roads were sealed. Tactical teams swept every corner. Parents evacuated in tears. And by dawn, police had a suspect. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, a man with no criminal record. Investigators say he fired a high-powered rifle from a rooftop, leaving behind DNA on the trigger and a handwritten note hidden under his keyboard. A motive, a plan, a suspect. It looked like a perfect case, but cracks appeared quickly. Medical staff reported no exit wound. The bullet's trajectory pointed from behind, not above. Experts say the round should have passed clean through if fired from a high-velocity rifle. Some even suggest a different weapon entirely, or a shot fired much closer, maybe from inside the venue. Witnesses echo the same thing. The shot didn't sound distant. It was sharp, immediate, like a gun going off right next to them. Some saw movement near the stage moments before the blast. Video clips capture instant reactions, people ducking in a fraction of a second. Audio specialists say that's what close-range fire does to a crowd, not an echo from far away. And then there's the digital evidence. Texts, posts, and a handwritten note, all pointing at Robinson. But defense attorneys warn, digital trails can be misleading, and physical evidence can be planted. It almost looks too perfect, the exact pieces investigators would need to convict.
Outside the courtroom, the divide is sharp. Some demand the harshest penalties. Others warn of a rush to judgment. Inside, the Kirk family sits only feet away from Robinson, searching for answers. And so the questions remain. If the bullet came from behind at close range, how could Robinson have fired it from a rooftop? If witnesses insist the sound was right beside them, why does the state ignore their voices? If the rifle should have produced an exit wound, why was the bullet lodged inside? Until these questions are answered, one man's life and the credibility of the justice system hangs in the balance. And if Robinson isn't the shooter, then the person who killed Charlie Kirk is still out there. This case isn't over. Not for the Kirk family, not for Tyler Robinson, and not for the rest of us. We'll keep following every hearing, every piece of evidence, and every development until the truth comes out. If you believe truth matters, if you believe justice matters, stay with us. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video with others who care about uncovering what really happened. Because the closer we look, the more the official story begins to unravel. But the defense is preparing a different narrative. They argue that the weapon was planted, that eyewitnesses contradict the official trajectory, and that the digital evidence has been selectively presented. Their case leans on doubt. If the state cannot prove the rifle was fired by the accused, then how can they claim certainty about the shot? And so the contradictions sharpen. A rifle without fingerprints, a trajectory that doesn't align, witnesses who heard 2 shots when the record shows only 1. Each gap in the evidence becomes more than a detail. It becomes a fault line on which the trial could turn. For Tyler's family, the trial promises answers. For the accused, it may decide freedom or life behind bars. And for the public, it is the moment when conflicting stories collide in a courtroom. with the truth or something resembling it left for 12 jurors to decide. The case against the accused seems clear. A rifle, a bullet, a digital trail, and yet the cracks are impossible to ignore. A weapon found far from the scene, stripped of fingerprints. An autopsy suggesting a rooftop angle while officials insist on ground fire. Witnesses describing 2 shots when the record names only 1. These contradictions leave us with the troubling reality. If the evidence doesn't match the story, who really pulled the trigger? That's the question. We'll keep asking, and the reason you should subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this investigation. Subscribe if you believe justice depends on truth. Subscribe if you think silence only protects the guilty. Subscribe if you want every hidden detail brought into the light. And if you won't subscribe, then go to the comments and tell us why, because your voice matters here. Whether it's agreement, doubt, or demand, drop one word, justice, truth, release, to show where you stand. And above all, share this story. So Tyler Robeson's name and the unanswered questions surrounding his death are never forgotten.